There's a story, this old guy, his name was George Latapy. And he lived down around Topanga Canyon, somewhere in that area, close to Hollywood. And they used his walker dogs in the movies some. But he had an old dog he called California Light. And now Latapy told me this story himself. He knew Charlie Tant real well, too. And he told me that he was at Charlie Tant's camp one time, and he said it was kind of up on a little knoll, and they were there making some coffee or something, and Charlie had a litter of pups. And he said there was a little arroyo went down, sand bottom and all that, and he said them pups were down in there just raising cane, and little dogs. And he said, he asked him, what are them pups doing, Charlie? Said old Charlie said, oh, well, they're after a wildcat. He said, I had old Light there who had caught dozens of cats in Simi Valley. Well, Simi Valley, I also went to first grade in Simi Valley. Hot, miserable hot in that country. And old Light supposedly caught loads of cats in Simi Valley, which I'm sure he probably did. And anyway, Latapy told me, he said, I just walked down there with old Light and just kind of hissed him on in there with them pups. Said he went in there and milled around a little while, sniffed here, sniffed there. Said he went back up on the hill and sat down. And he said, I did too. Said, I wasn't going to mess with them pups down there. They didn't know what they was doing. He said, I said to Charlie, Charlie, are you sure they're after a wildcat? Yeah, he said, they're after a wildcat. And he said, I didn't think so. But he said, I sat there a while. He said, pretty soon one of them pups rammed his head in a hole and said he grabbed a bobcat and out it come. And he said, so help me. He said, all them other pups piled in and said they killed that cat right there and they eat him. He said they killed that bobcat right there and eat him. Well, I've been in Charlie's camp when his dogs was that narrow. I mean, just skin and bones, you know. He never had much food at no time.
So much to learn from these old stories. For one, I figured out from Bergin, Kendall's little Millie had to have been born about the time I was born. And when everyone in Washington was remembering her to me, had to be like 20 to 28 years later. It's crazy. Also, Cecil picked up Kendall's little Millie from Charlie as a pup. I don't know exactly how old. And for all I know, she could have been one of the pups in this story. But even if not, she came up running free and wild around Charlie's camp. And I know from my own life that the absolute smartest and best dogs I raised started out this same way. I think stimulating a puppy's brain is so important in every stage of his development. And some of the best studies on this that I've seen have been from the bird dog people. One aspect of this story reminded me of another story told by Dale Looney about Tom Barnes, and I'll close this out by reading that portion of Dale's letter from page 82 and 83. It was close to noon, so we ate lunch. Then Tom said, well, let's go catch another cat. 20 minutes later, we had another cold track moving. The two dogs that were trailing below us were Daisy and Kate. Tom thought it sounded good, so he turned out 3 more dogs, Blaze, Twister, and Pearl. The dogs stepped out on the road and listened for a couple minutes. Then they left for the opening dogs downhill, never saying a word. Tom said they would not open until they smell cat. He does not allow a babbling dog to go running to the other dogs, as this will only cause confusion. We stayed on the ridge for 3.5 hours and listened to the dogs. As this track started warming up, the one female, Kate, started pulling away. You would have to look a long time to find a dog that can push a cat track any faster. When they jumped this cat, her voice changed to where she sounded like her foot was in a trap. Tom called the dogs treed. So we got ready, put on our caulk boots, flashlights, and gloves. We started down to the tree. Way down. It must have taken 45 minutes to get to the creek. Then part way up a side draw. This cat was a big Tom up a big tree on a steep hillside. Those dogs were locked down, treed to stay. After petting the dogs, Kyle shot the cat. He weighed 25 plus pounds. It was time to climb out. When we reached the creek bottom, Tom hung the cat by a hind leg and skinned him faster than I thought possible. Then he did something I've never seen before. He took the cat down and gave it to the dogs. Tim and I stood there in awe as 5 grown dogs and 2 puppies devoured that cat in less time than it took to skin it. Not a growl or a sideways look from any dog. That cat was gone. Everything except large bones and paws. That cat was gone. He said he feeds about every 3rd cat to the dogs. These dogs were in good shape and well taken care of, yet they ate as if they were starved.